And you've worked on the game for that long. What's it like to finally see the reaction of it?
Yeah, the thing is that I'm a fan, so I really have a real vested interest in how people respond to it, and not just to my work, but like all the craftsmanship that goes into it. I've been over at Epic Games, and I've seen like it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory over there. There's like sculptors, painters, the mocap people, the people that work on the cinematics, and then the actors. Everybody contributes so much that it's it takes so long for a game to come out, and when it does, I mean, it's awesome to see people respond to it the way they have to all three games. But for me, I love London, so I was pretty happy to make it out there and see the UK fans.
Yep, we Brits can be pretty full on when it comes to things we like.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to hanging around for midnight launches for our favourite games. You'll always find us there.
We're going to with pens and hot chocolate.
And, it was in Oxford Street. I mean, it's pretty centralised, so it's close to all the good bars and nightclubs, so I was happy about that, too.
That sounds good.
Can't go wrong.
Along with a drink.
Yeah.
It's good work. I'll just get the intros out of the way, and then we'll kick it off. Right, okay. Hello everyone, this is Luke, known as the British Noob. I'm with Mr. Carlos Ferro, aka the Domfather. I've got a guest, Mr. Dave. Or when we live, he's known on Twitter. Mr. Dave is what you know.
Mr. Dave. That's a new way of being known. Mr. Dave. Hi, everybody.
And I hope you don't mind that I don't call you Mr. Dave, Dave. Is that okay?
I can survive with that. That's okay.
Right. Okay.
I can survive. Yeah, Carlos, was there a moment or a time when you were playing games, when you thought you wanted to be a voice actor, or did it just like kind of chance upon it?
I was very lucky that when they were developing these new consoles, like I was doing voiceover already and on camera as well, and I was already kind of getting involved with through pure luck into geek culture kind of stuff. Having been on a show, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I sort of would make sure that I would kind of be in line with my representatives. I'd be like, if it has to do with superheroes, sci-fi, I'm in. I want to read for that stuff. And so when voiceover jobs came through and animated stuff, it was the same kind of thing. But the first games I worked on were PlayStation 2, and it was very different time for voiceover. And so when they came up with this new console, the Xbox, the first Xbox, I just really lucked into it in that they were trying to do something different. I felt with the voice acting, and the first games I worked on were just really cool, fun properties for the original Xbox, and they happened to be like James Bond games, Tony Hawk games, Scarface. I mean, there was just stuff that I got involved when things were kicking off pretty hard in changing up the game and making it a little more interesting in terms of how people sound in the game, so it wasn't all, he went over there, I don't know, did he go? I don't know, that kind of stuff. I mean, that really was sort of the norm, and that's not really, talking shit. Can I curse, by the way?
Yeah, you can curse. Ross is fine with that.
I will anyway.
Okay, please, Dave, curse. So that no, so yeah, I not to talk shit, but it was really how it was. It was a little more caricature-y and cartoony. So then when actors like me and, John DiMaggio got involved and stuff like that, it changed, and I was lucky to be there.
I was gonna reach on something if Luke doesn't mind me interjecting. It's interesting you say when you got on board with the PlayStation 2, and it literally was sort of like they were banging out games, and you said how it's sort of like now you got painters and artists, and gaming's gone from being like a 4-hour game that you just played endlessly to something like the Gears of War franchise, where it is an art form. I mean, the artwork in those games it's definitely changed.
Yeah, no, and there's been, having not only been in the industry, but being a gamer myself, I really have seen the development of shooters and the development of the fighting games and just old school retro gaming. Just I've seen what has become of what used to be kind of pretty much dismissed by a lot of people as just being like a silly pastime, you know what I mean, or for kids. Yeah. And now it's like I was saying earlier, so much craftsmanship goes into it that it's kind of silly when people say that it's not art or that it's not worthy of that kind of praise. I mean, you do play a game like Gears of War 3, and whatever criticisms one might have about the story or the gameplay or whatever, you've got to just have eyes to see that it's pretty beautiful stuff,
Well, at the beginning of Gears of War 2, there's that speech by the commanding officer.
Yeah.
And the way it's presented, you have the cogs kind of marching through the streets, and you've got the music kind of stirring. And it was this generation where I started noticing how games were games were like films.
Yeah.
And you had that kind of stirring scene, and you felt you felt connected to it because it didn't feel like just a game. It was kind of another thing beyond the game. And I just thought,
it's funny you would bring that little clip up. I'm really familiar with it. When I DJ, I have like visuals that have been put together by an editor, and they're cool. I mean, they're not really just cinematics or cutscenes from games. They're actual sort of psychedelic, sort of kind of rave culture kind of visuals that kind of blend in with footage from the games that I've worked on. Just a little shout out to the gamers, that might be there at my set, which tends to be a lot of gamers come to see my DJ sets. And I actually open the show I did last year at PAX East in Boston. It opened with that marching and the speech because it's so dramatic. You know what I mean? It really is. It really is cool. It's like a movie.
Well, Gears. Sorry, I was just saying, Gears does definitely hit some very good notes with stirring and rousing moments. It's when you play it. When I was playing that game at 3 a.m, coming to the end of Gears of War 3, playing it with my longtime friend, I really had this feeling like I'm gonna have to go and kick some locust ass big time. And we were rolling through that on hardcore mode, and not a bullet was touching us. We were there with you, man. We were there with you.
Awesome, I love it. And hardcore, man. I'm impressed. I really know what it takes to play in hardcore mode. I don't do it. So John DiMaggio does. The guy who plays Marcus. He's gotten through the games on hardcore, but I just stick to normal and play Horde all day. So a lot of respect to you.
And that's the thing. Steve, what's his name? Steve Jablonski does the music for Gears of War 2.
Yeah, Steve Jablonski did the
I mean,
score.
that's not exactly a small name in music. He's got some pretty good credits. Say what you want about the Transformers films, but the music in the Transformers films is like, it's really, really are good soundtracks.
Well, that's what they wanted for 2, especially. It was one of those things that when you've got the time, everybody wants to up their game. I mean, myself included. I mean, the Maria scene came out of a place of me wanting to do something big and dramatic. And, when it came to score, I mean, I know the people that I work with were fucking stoked to get Jablonski because Transformers was it was hot on the heels of the first Transformers movie, and like you said, say what you will about the movies, the music's good.
Yeah. That's another thing, because me and Dave are going to ask about that. I'll say what I will about the Maria scene, and then Dave can go on and ask what he wants to ask about it. But that scene, for me, when playing games, it was just in the past when I got Xbox One, it was just kind of a pastime, and I may have enjoyed the stories.
Yeah.
But that scene with Maria and then Ty,
watch,
just caught off guard.
Yeah.
Because you see her come out for everyone who's listening, mega spoilers. But when you watch the scene and she walks out the casket, and you think she's kind of okay, but there's something not right about it.
Yeah, right.
And then you see her and she's she's not just more than dishevelled, just kind of broken. She's broken in every sense, and she doesn't know who Dom is, and Dom doesn't know who she is. I mean, what do you do?
That's the thing. Sorry, Roy, I jumped in there.
What do you do for that? Well, how do you get across the emotion for that? Because that's pretty heavy stuff.
That was I don't want to cover familiar ground because I have talked about this in the past a lot. But what I will say is that the bottom line on it is that I asked the powers that be, "Do you really want me to go there?" Because for an actor, it's a heavy duty scene. It's not something that you wanted to kind of half-ass it or just get through it. And I know from a gamer perspective, there's the 2 camps. There's people that are playing the game. Dave, you were saying you're trying to tear through it, and all of a sudden this really emotional scene is happening, and I totally get where people are like, fuck this, I want to keep going. You know what I mean? I want to keep killing the bad guys. But then there's also the part of people that are so invested. There's a real separation, and yet yet there is a camaraderie between the two camps in that you guys both want to destroy the Locust, but there's some people that really have so much investment in Dom as a character
Yeah.
that I felt that I kind of owed it to them, so I couldn't be like oh shit, boom, you know what I mean? Like I had to throw a little more into it, and like I've heard both camps, people say let's just keep killing shit, and then there's the camp that's like thanks for putting me through it because Dom's my guy, and he's been looking for his wife, and if you read the books, the real story about his whole family's legacy as military, and how I got there is just good old fashioned acting. I really went bananas in the booth, and they had to turn the lights down, and it was crazy.
Yeah, because as a game, I'm a type of person, I love tearing through games, but I like having a story that I can sort of, I don't know, I can't relate to a situation like that, but I like the way that the gears, when it got to sort of like the cinematic scenes, it brought me in and sort of gave that, and I don't know, all you guys as actors did a great job bringing in that dark reality of what the whole tone and setting was and the mood of that game, and especially the Maria bit. You probably, like you say, you've been asked about it 1,000 times.
Yeah, but I don't really feel bad about. The reason I was trying to not repeat myself, but it really does whittle down to that I went there. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I could have given any more than I did, and there is somewhere in the ether. There's a version that is lighter, that is light, that I after we got through it, I was like wiping my tears and being like, you know what? Let's try and do this not so bananas, balls out, and it didn't sound right to me, and obviously it didn't sound right to them. It sounded sort of like a cheat, and but I will, to lighten up the the interview. So I will tell you guys the thing that is funny that I didn't. You know how they say comedy is tragedy with distance, or time, like comedy equals tragedy plus time. I was watching the scene again recently, and somebody was asking me about it, and they showed the scene, and I really found it funny how Marcus reacts. Like if you rewatch it, like Dom's going through this whole thing, and Marcus's reaction is like, Dom, it's okay. And he walks away. You know what I mean? Like this is your fucking problem. He just like
yeah, Dom is the cam that wants to get invested. Marcus is the cam that wants to go and close shit. Just like it's a way like actors. I've seen interviews with actors where they've been asked, "So how do you go to the emotion?" And they like think of things to what's happening in their real life to kind of get across that emotion. I think that's a pretty intense thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I haven't had to euthanize my wife yet, but but I'm not married, but I drew from some other places. So
when you were going into voice acting, did you have any idea of the kind of characters you wanted to play? Because Dom, let's take Dom and Dimitri for example. They are like wildly different. You've got a soldier and you've got an artist. So
yeah, it's awesome when I'm playing multiplayer. I especially after a few drinks, it's pretty fun to kind of mix up those characters because they're so different.
Yeah.
I try to do a mashup where I'm like, so bitches, how exciting, you know what I mean? Like,
creepy.
Or how exciting, shit, yeah, you have Da Vinci say Dom's lines, have Dom say his lines. How exciting, Marcus! It's just weird. But it's when I started doing more voice acting, and with acting, you're just happy to be busy, and so when I started doing more games and more animation, more cartoons, than on camera stuff, I really like I said, I campaigned and I told my people if it has to do with pop culture and comics, spies, monsters, sign me up, throw that my way. And I'm hardly an actor that can boast and say things come across my desk, but I do see things that are out there and projects that are happening well before they're on the market or in the marketplace. And I always there's the three characters that have eluded me. Like I've played plenty of Bond villains, but I've never played James Bond. But I've played, you guys will dig this. I've played Brits in other games. If you play Command and Conquer, you can hear this very proper, silly British character that I played in that. And I taught dialects at Cornell University, so I kind of am all about dialects. That's sort of where Leonardo da Vinci came from. And I haven't played Bond, I haven't played Batman, Bruce Wayne, and I haven't played Tony Stark, Iron Man. But those are the guys that I want to play. So I end up sort of getting close, but not quite. So if you guys want to really annoy the people from the Arkham games, rumor has it that I came ridiculously close to being Batman before Kevin Conroy got it on that.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, Kevin's a great guy, and I'm really glad that he got to continue his his legacy will be the Batman animated Batman. Kevin Conroy's been Batman for a long time, but for the games, like I said, I can't go official, but they say it was down to him and me for that, and that would drive anybody bananas because the games are so fucking awesome. I think Asylum and Arkham City, and I think they're great games. And the idea that I could have been Bruce for those games and Batman would have been just amazing. But I tell people, bug them, because there's plenty of characters in the Batman mythos and in the universe that I'd love to be involved. But but there's plenty of work out there. I really can't complain when it comes to games. Being characters like Michael Corleone or Dom Santiago or Leonardo da Vinci. I can't keep saying I want all the good jobs. You know what I mean?
So what voice would you have done for Batman? What would be a Batman voice? Would it be like Christian Bale?
No, you know what? Actually, I'll be honest. I was one of those people that thought the Christian Bale Batman voice is kind of funny.
Yeah.
That swear to me, that kind of shit.
Swear to me.
Yeah, swear to me. That's that. I mean, it works. I guess to a point for him, but I still think it's a little funny. But then again, there's that suspension of disbelief with the superhero movies, like especially with the DC characters like Batman and Superman that they wear a cowl or glasses, and you just imagine that somebody would go, Bruce. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like when I watch Batman Begins in particular, whenever Katie Holmes has a scene with Batman, I just feel like she should go, Bruce, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to give her that speech about what you do defines you. You know what I mean? I think halfway through that she should be
she must be like, it was Halloween 2 months ago, get your costume. Yeah. Get back to work.
I mean, that's something similar to what my girlfriend said. She's going, if I found you sat on our balcony in our apartment wearing a rubber outfit with bat ears, she'd be like, I'd have it down straight away that it's you, and I'd definitely drag you into the house. Whereas he gets to fly off. Yeah. Like, that wouldn't happen for me. No chance.
And the idea that you would be like, someone's outside. She'd be like, clear your throat. What are you doing? I don't.
Yeah.
What exactly?
Why are you? Strepsil and says, get in. Yeah.
Fancy dress Dave is on the balcony, it's crazy.
Exactly. So I've got to have a few beers to hit the fancy dress, though, to be honest with you. But hey, who knows?
Well, my Batman, I would say, if you're going to play, as an actor, if you're going to play an iconic character that you've wanted to play your whole life and that you've used to play as a kid and, that's your dream, I would say that Bruce Wayne would sound like me. Because you know what I'm saying? You're like, I want him to be me. And in terms of Batman, I mean, I don't know that Batman always has to sound like he's got, strep throat. You know what I mean? Like I think that there's a way to go serious without. Michael Keaton. As much as he was kind of whispery, he wasn't sounding like he had a throat problem or polyps, So, I won't throw it out now, but because you never know what's going to happen in the future. But it would have. I can say that Bruce Wayne for sure would have just been that's Carlos, because why not, right?
Yeah.
So the opportunity. So if the opportunity came to you, would run at it and grab it. Not let go.
Batman. If you let's put it this way: if either of you ever hear of me playing Batman or Iron Man, you can, or James Bond, you will know that I am the happiest man alive, because that's a thing for me. That's one of those things that it's my holy grail. It's the thing that I've always wanted. But like I said, I can't complain. I've gotten to beat up both Bonds. I've gotten to beat up Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig in video games.
Who did you play in? Did you play the villain in Everything or Nothing? Who did you play in
Everything or Nothing, I was one of the villains and a bunch of supporting villains, but I was Willem Dafoe was the main villain, but I was in there. I was the South American baddie. And then in Quantum of Solace, I'm all over the multiplayer beating the shit out of Daniel Craig, so it's awesome.
Oh, I loved Everything or Nothing. That was at the time, that was one of the really
awesome.
good Bond games.
I love that
because it wasn't a film tie-in. There wasn't that pressure.
And it was the last time that Pierce Brosnan played the game, and that he played the character, I should say, in a game. And it's an independent property. That was amazing. And what was really cool is Shannon Elizabeth worked on it, and she's if you think Shannon Elizabeth is hot like in movies, in person she kind of knocks you on your ass. She's one of those people that it's like looking at the sun. It's bizarre how hot she is.
Blinded by the beauty.
Totally. But that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
A good one, though.
I was going to say, it won't be a bad conversation.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be a bad conversation. Well, I just think the digital noob wants to stay on point with video games,
That's fine. Now it's like everything. Now it's comics and video games and films and music, so you can go the gambit. So what would be your, because if you've done Batman voice, I'm interested to know, what would be your Bond voice? Because everyone does either Roger Moore or Sean Connery.
Okay, I would never start tossing around an impression of Roger Moore, not with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon out there battling it out, I mean, there's no way. Pierce, he's a great guy, but again, I wouldn't speculate or even try to do Pierce Brosnan. Again, you make it your own. You go specific. I mean, if it would surprise, I think, both of you. I guess. I mean, I don't know how big Bond fans you are, but
I'm a mega Bond fan.
You are? Okay. Well, I mean, when his life story, not just the Casino Royale origin, but like the books and, his background and where he went to school, and you get as obsessive about regional dialects and stuff like that. I mean, most people that I've heard do Bond either in animated properties or games tend to just go kind of proper English and be done with it. And I think that there's a way to manipulate any accent into being cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of a young Bond. So you're not going to pull an impression out of me, okay?
I was hoping.
No. And again, the day will come, I'm sure, but I'm not gonna. Especially right now, speaking to two Brits, I'm not gonna start doing my James Bond.
I don't mind.
You got to save that one for the audition.
Absolutely. But it's something that I would take very seriously, obviously. So there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked on a Scooby-Doo movie, and I was doing this Argentinian character, and it's Latin, but it's Argentinian, which is very tinged with Italian, and it was a really cool character, and the character kind of looks like a funny kind of squat. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this, but anyways, the next Scooby-Doo movie is about, I don't even know I can say this. Anyways, I'm working on I did this Scooby-Doo movie. It's in the can. It's going to come out. Yeah. And, Scooby-Doo movies are always like the circus of this, the whatever, and the den of thieves, whatever. So there's this scenario where my character, who's one of the main characters of the movie, he kind of looks like me, and the animators went that direction. They looked at all of us, and it's really fun and cool to be in a Scooby-Doo movie. But when it came to the accent, I was being really specific about that it was a Buenos Aires, Argentina accent. Yeah. And everybody was just looking at me like, dude, it's a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Calm down. You know what I mean? So there's that kind of obsessive behavior with me, and how careful I am about not offending anybody or getting it right. So maybe let's put it this way: maybe on the next interview, I'll have my James Bond all prepared for you. Okay?
Yay! So is there any other did you mention any other voice actors or any other actors you've not kind of tried to mimic, but have influenced you or inspired you to kind of do the job you do?
Was that you, Dave, laughing or coughing?
Coughing. Trying
Okay.
to mask the cough from the mic.
What it sounded like is that Luke's going, do any actors influence you? And you're like, influence? What are you talking about? So, yeah, plenty. In terms of voice acting, there's, the obvious Mel Blanc hero, in terms of versatility and talent. But then I had a guy called Charlie Adler, who, if you look him up on IMDb, he's been in everything. But most recently, people would know him as Starscream from Transformers. He's been around a long time, and he's awesome. He's also. Do you guys remember cartoons called a cartoon called Cow and Chicken?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, well, he's Cow and Chicken. So
Starscream is Cow and Chicken.
Yes,
that is it.
Yeah. Just like Marcus
amazing.
Phoenix. Just like Marcus Phoenix is Bender from Futurama.
Really, I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No,
My
I
idea
didn't.
was blown.
Did you know that, Luke?
Nope. You've just kind of
Blow your mind? Yeah, he does a cool thing in the booth
Boom.
where he does a cool thing in the booth all the time where he goes, he does Bender going, like, give me the gun, and he's going, no, you can't have the gun, robot. It's really fucking cool.
So he does this. So sorry, he does the Starscream in the movies or the old cartoon.
Both. He was Starscream. He's one of the few that I think the only voice actors from the cartoon that went
into Megatron. That was
the only Transformers that made it from the cartoon to the movie are Optimus Prime, I believe, and Starscream, and that's
his voice.
And Charlie Adler is the guy, but he also did Cow and Chicken. And
Prime's voice is amazing.
And it's cool when you see that kind of range. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about Dom and Leo. I mean, at least that's in both. They're both in games. I love the fact that Marcus Phoenix, the badass of the badasses, is also the drunk robot from Futurama. It's cool.
He's the best character in Futurama. That's
absolutely.
Watching it now, I've got even more reason to watch every episode.
Oh no! You know what? Now that you know, you're going to hear it, which is really fucking cool. It's sort of like when I worked on Star Trek. I used to tell people, I don't want to spoil Next Gen for you, but I can point things out to look for. And once I did, they're like, dude, why'd you tell me? Like now it doesn't even look like they're flying a ship. They look like people pretending on a set. You know what I mean? But it's a thing like with Bender. It's like the second you hear Marcus isms coming in there and so forth. It's fun. It's cool.
Marcus is like Snake's brother on steroids.
Say what? Yeah.
Marcus Phoenix is like Snake's brother on steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Marcus would kick Snake's ass, let's face it.
Take him by his head and just crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was politely agreeing. I don't know that I can say that I agree wholeheartedly.
You can say it. You can say it if you think it. It's fine. It's fine. We're all friends here. We're all friends. Now, so is there any way you kind of what do you enjoy most about it? Is it being able to express yourself, or being different characters, or everything, or
voice acting or acting or what?
Acting, voice acting.
You know what? I would say it's a really good question. I've never really gotten asked that question. It's unusual because we hear a lot of the same questions from a lot of different people.
That's what I'm really careful of, because I watch press junkets, and when I watch the interviews on the specials, on news specials, I'm thinking the actor's being asked that 10 times in 3 hours. So that's why I'm being careful. So I try to keep it. I mean, I try to keep my answers relatively interesting, and again, I'm proud of what I do. So it's not like, oh fuck, now I gotta tell the Maria story again. It's not like that. I like what I do, and I'm proud of it. So I don't mind repeating myself. I just try to make it a little more interesting or colorful. But what that question is really good, because I recently heard an actor talking about how they were. They've been most actors, not most, I shouldn't say it. A lot of actors that I've heard do interviews talk about their beginnings were like when they were 8 and 9 years old, and they were kids that always wanted to do that. Like they took to it and they were on stage and all that. And that really wasn't me. I didn't get into acting seriously till I was in college. And I thought I was going to be a music producer, because I was a DJ, and I was a fake ID club goer, and I took to music and nightclubs more than I ever took to the stage and to being on camera. And
things worked out, but working out for me meant, going to school and going to grad school and, taking it seriously as a career. And the what I found that is the enjoyable part is the process. And a lot of actors that I talk to now, it seems that they dig being seen or seeing themselves on television or seeing or hearing their voice in a property. But I don't know. I feel that I'm a little weird in that I dig tearing apart a script. I like coming up with a character. I like putting my stamp on something.
Mm-hmm.
I like, I really like knocking it out of the park. Like, I know people that get a lot more excited about, the job itself rather than the work they're going to put into it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Perfectly.
So you mean like when you're actually doing the voice, you put every effort into doing the voice?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I talked about this is a weird one. I worked on Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Epic.
And it was cool because I was working with all these movie stars and all these heroes in the booth that I and on the sound stage. It was a really amazing, beautiful job on the Disney stage and at Universal. And so I'm around movie stars that I admire, and I won't say who, but like a couple. I was like, how cool is this? And how cool was that thing that you did? Like I'm talking about their movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, oh man, that's a long time ago. I don't remember that. That's it. Like just didn't even care. And I was like, dude, that's epic shit, and they just were like, yeah, I don't know. And it was kind of a downer because I felt like, okay, well, sure, today they're at work and they're busy with what they're doing, but there wasn't that sort of love for the work and the work that went into it that I felt that I think an actor should have. Because I don't know, man. Maybe it's just that I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I started this whole interview by saying that I'm a fan of what I do, so I get all excited about it and the prospect of working on an accent or working on on what I do. So it's a trippy thing to hear people that don't do that.
It's like you're saying there, but there's a lot of people out there that do just work for a paycheck and may not take as much pride in their work. But I mean, like if you look at some of the products you've been involved in, I can invest in the characters in the games that you've been in because you deliver that. But there's other games where you can tell a voice actor's been bought in because his name carries a bit of weight, and you can tell that with the way the product's delivered at the end, and it sort of that affects the consumer as well, how much they're going to invest in it, and if they're going to buy a sequel, for argument's sake.
Well, I appreciate. I'm honest. I'm being wholeheartedly sincere. I really appreciate you saying that, Dave, so that I don't have to. It is true. Like I've been around it, and there have been other experiences where they'll bring in a celebrity voice, and people have said you're a celebrity, and I'm like, well, kinda. I mean, it's not the same thing when someone is brought in for their cachet, but they don't know what they're doing in the sound booth. And the directors will tell me that the person was not just ill prepared, but just didn't have the wherewithal or the skills to get through a day's work in a sound booth. And it's depressing because not just because, I wanted the job. I mean, there's work for everybody. I just wish that they were into what they're doing and putting in the effort because, I think you can hear it. You can hear it when someone is just like, oh yeah, that's such and such, but it's kind of boring, and I think that's the worst sin is to be boring.
I don't know if I should mention the name of the actor because he's pretty big at the time. Like he's had his moment in the limelight, and now he's just kind of drifting. But I've seen the video. I didn't play the game, but I've seen the video of it, and he's playing a villain, and the villain was a mad scientist. And for a mad scientist, there's so many ways you can go. You can go like kind of like, oh, I will get you one day, or you can just like do other things. But he was sitting on the stool, just kind of, I will get you today. You will not. He was just hinting at an inflection of emotion, but there was nothing behind it. And I was watching that, thinking,
that's a bummer, right?
You're getting paid to do it. You should be enjoying it. Put something into it. You're getting paid to act like a doofus, basically.
Yeah, when it's just the voice as well, you can tell more when it's just the voice.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you're looking at somebody, then maybe you can get away with it with the way they look or the mannerisms. But if it's just your voice, that's the only part of you that's in a product. You can tell the inflections. I mean, I play hundreds of games, ridiculous amounts of thousands of pounds every year on games, and you can tell the actor that's sat in a booth, that's arrived that morning, been handed a piece of paper, read the script, because you can tell all the way through the game it's always the same tone. And then you can tell with an actor like yourself, where you've invested in the scene, you've thought about it, you've delivered it. Like you said, turning the lights down to do everything. You can tell that the quality differs massively in some products. I've noticed anyway.
I totally agree. And I think that goes for any kind of performance-driven job. I mean, I worked on the Cleveland show recently, and it's do you guys have Cleveland show
I
now,
haven't
right?
been able to catch it. I've wanted to catch it. I haven't been able to watch it.
Spin-off of Family Guy. It's funny, and it wasn't a huge part or by any means, and I was talking to other people that that wanted to work on the show, and they basically were kind of putting the effort that they would bring to it depending on the size of the job. You know what I mean? Like they were like, oh, if that's not beneath me, but if I worked on a show and it was, only a few lines or a few things, I wouldn't really care, but I want a meatier role if I'm going to take the time. And I'm just like, do you hear yourself? You know what I mean? It's a job in show business. It's an acting gig. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, It beats the hell out of going to a factory, or busting your ass, at a garage, and it kind of blows my mind when people don't care about, putting everything they got into it. I mean, it's sitting on its stool, like you were saying,
And the best actors are the ones who are not in a film much, but they're the ones you remember them mostly about the film.
Yep.
I mean, take for example, I don't know. For me, Christopher Lee, Lord of the Rings, he's in it not very much.
Yeah.
But I think, he's never always in the best of films.
Yeah.
But when he's in good films, he's very good.
Yeah.
But like Lord of the Rings, he's not a very small part. But I mean, I think he met Tolkien once. But he gives himself to the part, and I think that's the best kind of actor when you just give it your all. Because I think as well, to show your appreciation, I think if you've got a smaller part, you should put more effort in, because then. I mean, you know what I mean. If you've got a smaller part, put more effort, and then you're showing your dedication to the finished thing as a whole.
Well, there's an old acting adage that's there's no small parts, only small actors.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I agree with that completely, but I do think that I do agree with the fact that that's an opportunity. You should do everything you can with it.
So when you do your
give me some more questions.
So when you do your thing, when you do your thing, do you like do you just like sit on the chair, or do you like kind of like what about while you're talking or standing up? Or?
We are every now and again, especially on cartoons, we are told the cast is together and we sit down.
Yep.
In games, we're rarely together. Me and John DiMaggio for Gears of War, though, they put us together quite often because it really serves the scenes and it helps. But for the most part, unless it's a really long day, I'm a standing guy. I stand when I work. I don't sit down. It's especially with games. It's so physical. If you're illustrating something, like in the case of Leo, or if you're walking around carrying a lancer, it's very physical. You got your weighed down by stuff. You're pointing. You're ducking. Again, I can. It's no secret. I get a lot of shit for how I work. I get people saying like, "Dude, it's just a video game," and I don't subscribe to that philosophy. I mean, I think if Dom Santiago's walking into a cave and looking up at the ceiling or at the roof and saying something, or looking at the a mountain in the distance, it's a physical movement. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So I am a very physical voice actor, and after a few hours, if you're there for 4 hours, your legs get a little tired and boo-hoo. But still, I for the most part try to stand when we're working. But you take breaks and sit down. But for some reason in animation, they put us all like in a circle, practically sitting down, and that always gets me very inhibited and uncomfortable. I feel like we're not doing enough. It's weird.
Well, I was a genie in a play in Sinbad, and when we did rehearsals.
Did you just break out a panto credit?
Yes, I did.
He did. He went there. He went panto.
You went panto on us. All right, go ahead.
Well, like you say about small parts, I'm going to plug myself here. When I've done my first part, there's only it's a tiny small theatre near where I live. My first part was I was a Dutch gangster, and I had to come on stage. In the last 5 minutes, I had to come on stage.
Yeah.
But because it was a small part, like I said, I wanted to make sure it was good. I didn't want to come in and just do it half-heartedly. So I had to like burst the door up and do my best Dutch accent I could do, and
Okay.
then shoot the place up.
Excellent.
I've
But
known
then,
you. I've known you for quite a while, dude, and you have never mentioned the Dutch gangster ever. We're gonna have to talk about this.
you want us to do me line?
We're gonna have words after we go off. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I need to know the details.
I hope you know, Luke, that you're not going to get away from having to do the Dutch accent for Dave. I mean, that's going to happen this week at some point.
I'll do
Yeah,
it. I'll do it right now if you want.
Do
coming
it.
on
Do it.
Xbox and telling the
Do
whole
it.
world.
Do it. Have mehr mein Held! And I had to do that. That means give me my gold.
You've got the job. Listen to that.
And I had
Awesome.
to shout it. And when I
I
was
like.
in the audition, obviously I didn't know anybody.
Hmm.
So I just, and this one man, he read the direction. He sat there and went, Have mehr mein Held. Walk to the left.
Wow.
Everyone was laughing. So I thought,
So,
oh, shit this, I'm going to see if I can get it. So I done that.
yeah. Luke went bananas and got
Yep.
the job.
Yep, I went bananas. And
Awesome.
but during the rehearsals when we were reading, especially for the genie as well, I found it easier to walk about and do it instead of sitting down. Because like you see, you're feeling inhibited.
Yep.
When I was the genie and I had to go like, in bed, go over there. I couldn't do it just sitting down. I had to like kind of do the action with my arms and stuff like that.
I would give anything to see Dave's face right now.
It's beaming with the biggest smile you've ever seen.
I know.
And I'm also thinking as well. You still sound like a Geordie, but you're just shouting a bit deeper in a deeper voice. You've got that whole thing going
Geordie,
on,
that was my best Gandalf impression.
So far, it's a Geordie, it's a Geordie Dutch guy and a Geordie
Geordie
G.
Dutch guy, yeah.
Yeah, a Geordie genie, the one and only.
Yeah.
Geordie Green had to that. Oh, Pet put us back in the lamp like.
Did you see the episode of the Ricky Gervais Stephen Merchant series Extras with the genie?
Yes.
Where
Oh, what's he doing?
he says,
He's a big boy or something. He's being on camp.
yeah, he's wearing super camp, and he's like, I've been in this lamp so long, I'm bent out of all recognition. Oh,
He does that stupid weird shaking thing for ages. Nah,
Yeah.
I wasn't like that. I wasn't like that.
You weren't doing dirty old queer. That's his.
I don't really know. No, I wasn't doing the dirty old queer.
I love DOQ. So imagining you doing DOQ is pretty funny.
I was doing my best wizard impression.
Okay.
So I was being like well spoken as I could.
Perfect.
I think we know why you gave up the stage and moved on to podcasts. I think we know where,
Hey, I'll
where
be going
that.
back soon, cheeky boy. I'll be going back soon.
I'm coming to see it, and I'm bringing friends.
You know, it's fine as a theatre in Birmingham. I'll come down.
Fair dues. We've got the hippodrome. We'll get you in there, man.
Have you done stage work, Carlos?
Say again?
Have you done stage work?
Plenty. Yeah.
And how do you find it being that close to the
No,
audience?
I actually stages is as overly romantic as it sounds. It's my first love. It's what I would, if I could be doing anything, I'd probably be doing what I was doing before I moved to Los Angeles, which was rehearsing a show and doing a show at the same time. And that was always very natural and felt really good to be working on the next thing and then doing a run and paying my bills. So it was a good time. And it's sad that Los Angeles doesn't have more of an active theater scene. It has a theater scene, so I'm not dismissing its theater scene, but it's not the same as markets like San Francisco and New York. They've got a lot of equity houses, and and there's a lot of money that goes into the productions, and then an actor can make a living doing stage. That's not the case in Los Angeles. But then again, Los Angeles has the television and film and video game industries, so we can't complain that hard.
It's a nice. You find it to be a nice challenge starting from something where it doesn't exist and then seeing the finished.
Well, the thing about I haven't worked on any features except in a voiceover capacity, but I've done plenty of television, and it was cool to make the transition from stage to television in exactly that you could see it, and it's there forever. And you also become, with television, I mean, I grew up, being a big fan of television. So, it really, you do become a part of history, and it's immediate. You see it. But then again, I mean, there's that with the internet too. The internet's written in ink, not in pencil, and you can find your podcast or your web series, and it's always out there somewhere on YouTube or whatever. So, yeah, it's good to evolve with your whatever you do, your craft, your creativity. So I miss it, but it's not like, I'm pining to do it, because, if I'm going to, talk a big game about being so into my process, the stage, you drop off the earth. That's all you're doing is your show. You can't be, I mean, I would go on auditions, but there were so many jobs that I couldn't take, even if I got them, because I was in a show. So, it's something that I'd like to go back to at some point. If there was a show I was interested in, I'm sure I'd audition for it. But, I mean, the last time I auditioned for a show was, do you guys know, how Steve Martin, he's a writer as well. The comedian is a writer.
Oh yeah, right.
And he wrote Picasso at the Lapine Gilles. You familiar with that play?
Nope.
It's not.
I'm not, no.
It's arty. It's. I mean, it really is what it sounds like. It's very arty farty comedy, and but it's a good play. And I was up for. I mean, I was down to the wire for the lead for Picasso in this comedy that workshopped on the West Coast of the States, and then went to Broadway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I mean, it would have been it would have taken my career and my life in a whole different direction for a year probably. But it's I mean, that was, God, it was like 10 years ago. So I've focused just on television and video games, I think, as of late.
What kind of games do you like to play when you're not? Like, is it shooters, or RPGs, or races, or sports?
You know what? What I play consistently all the time is it started with 2, obviously, but I'm always playing Horde. My friends will be on Xbox Live, and, if I'm not watching a movie on Netflix or Zune, I'll be hoarding for at least an hour, a lot. Like, it's ridiculous, especially with all the DLC, After Forces of Nature and all the recent DLC. I was digging on the new maps and the reconstruction of the old maps, and so I'm always playing Horde from Gears 3. But that's not to say that I don't spend plenty of time playing Pinball Effects. Do you ever play Pinball Effects?
Yeah.
I dig those tables. I mean, it's so like old school, but I really love the way that it looks, and I mean, the Iron Man table. I mean, he said, no, Wolverine. I have the top score on Wolverine. It's like ridiculous. And, it's funny. Like, I'll be playing my old school games on the arcade, and then I'll still pop in my Godfather 2 game because, I get off on watching myself play Michael Corleone. So, it depends. I mean, yeah, I mean, recently that's about it. I mean, I gave Arkham City a try, which I thought was amazing. And but yeah, I've been all about Xbox lately. I haven't been playing too many PS3 games.
Yeah, I've recently got an Xbox because of the multiplayer thing. With Mass Effect 3 coming out, I decided to get play that multiplayer with Dave and other people. And it's really fun. It's really good.
Did you finish it?
Yes, I cried.
I was gonna say, did you cry?
Yes, I did.
All right, but no tears for poor Dom, right? You finished Gears 3 and no tears for Dom. I can feel it.
I was a bit choked. And it was a bit like, no fucking way did that just happen. That went across Xbox Live with one of my friends. And it was very. I was emotional. I don't get very emotional at times, but that got me. The slow motion bit, the explosion, and the music that wrote me off.
Yeah, I've had people, obviously recently talk to me a lot about that, and I'm just like, we did our best. I mean, some people people, I get asked a lot, like, how do I feel about it? And it's like, I'm still playing the game and digging on it, so it hasn't really set in. But, they went through a lot of different ideas and incarnations of how to go through with that. And once I heard Mad World scoring it, I was pretty much in. I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah, and they knocked it out of the park with that one. Well, you did, in my opinion, all of the voice acting in Gears You all smashed it out of the park. And I was definitely invested in Dom's character. So I was so keen to come in and talk to you when Luke said he was going to be interviewing you. I was sort of admiration of the work you did in that series of games. I was in there because I don't often get a game and play it in one sitting. But Gears of War 1, I put that in the machine, started playing it on a Saturday. And in the early hours of the Sunday, finished it. And that became like a religious thing with me, with a friend of mine that I always play online with. So that's how much I was drawn into what you guys all brought to the characters, and obviously what all the artists did, bringing the game to life as well.
Awesome. Love it. I love hearing that. It means why we do what we do. I mean, it's for people to enjoy it. You know, it comes with Twitter and everything. I just see how easy it is for people to criticize stuff. You know,
Yeah.
And so you'd be surprised. We hear. I won't say we. That's too many people. I hear more often than not what people take issue with and don't like about games. You know. And it's kind of a bummer because I don't hear enough how much people really care and enjoy it, because you know the internet is fueled by people bitching about stuff. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, we put so much work over years, you know, literally years into a project, and you know it'd be nice to hear people say, you know, well done, or we liked it, or it was really emotional. So it doesn't fall on deaf ears. I really appreciate that, man.
And it does take a long time, doesn't it, to record a voice for a game? It isn't just like 2 weeks and it's recording.
It's not 2 weeks. It's not 4 months. It's years in some cases, because we got to keep going back and fixing things or doing new pages. You know, Gears 3, we had it was great. It was supposed to come out a few months earlier than it did. So, you know, there was time to go back and work some other stuff out. And, you know, then there's the DLC that gets worked on. So yeah, no, it's literally the years, you know, that it takes for the game to come out. There's always voice acting going into it at the same time.
Awesome.
So yeah, you know, I wish I would have known though. Luke sprung that you were going to be in the interview, Dave. I wish I would have known that you were well aware of my work. So, you know, I could have done some ridiculous voice, and you just could have had your whole afternoon ruined. And I would have just had like this really Nelly or camp voice, and be like, you know, it's a lot of work to do Dom's voice. I have to reach down deep.
Oh no. Anyway,
smoke 40 a day before you hit the mic. One of those type of things.
But all right, Luke, keep going with the questions. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't get, because I started writing for Digital Noob like in December.
Yep.
And I couldn't get to the Game Has Gone Wild this year.
Well, you didn't miss anything because it barely went off.
Oh no, that was ridiculous. But how did you? I know you were there. How was it? How was the event? PAX was.
You did well. You read the story of what happened, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you read the story of what happened, then that qualifies what I'll say. It was a huge disappointment for me, because I worked for like 4 months, and Ross from Digital Noob, Julie, everyone knew how much I had prepared and how much I'd worked out. And I can't really even say what I had planned, because I'm probably going to unleash it on another party. But it had to do with live performing and my set and visuals and props and dancers, and it was going to be like a really cool thing. I liked my set last year, but it was, at the end of the day, there were just projections and a DJ, and you know, DJing's come a long way in the last few years, and I wanted to really up my game. And I had a lot of cool stuff that was going to happen for the Leo fans, for the Dom fans, for just fans of trance music. And I was going to do a special set for the VIPs of like goth industrial vintage music from like the 90s. And afterwards, after my set, I was going to do another set for like half an hour. And so the fact that, you know, it got all, you know, fucked up by the venue, and then when we did get a venue, that got fucked up too, and we weren't DJing. It was just a huge disappointment, and through no fault of Digital Noob. I mean, I was grateful that Digital Noob and Unveil NYC brought me out, because I was there, you know, doing my signing at the booth at PAX, and PAX is a great show. But in terms of the party, the reason that I was primarily the primary reason for me being there, it was a bummer that you know, it just didn't work out, man. They turned people away, and
I heard about that. It was for trainers, I think.
Yeah, for wearing trainers or shoes that look like trainers. God forbid you had, light colored shoes of any kind. You were gone. So
Gone.
yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess, and it was a bummer because I was there for Digital Noob, and I tried to do what I could during the weekend, but it was hardly DJing.
Will you be going next year to the party?
Yeah, I can't see why not. I Yeah, I mean, I tend to go to I don't like to be on the road a lot. I used to be on the road a lot more, but I go on the road like 3 or 4 times to different shows, and I think the only thing coming up for me is like E3 here in Los Angeles, and then Connecticut in July, which is in Hartford, Connecticut, and then New York Comic Con at the end of the year. That these are things that are confirmed, but next year, I mean, it's a year away, and I can't see why I won't. I love New England, so I will probably be there.
Well, I'm hoping to get there next year, so I might see you in person.
It's a great show, man. It's a great show. You'd have a blast.
And is there any? You mentioned like E3 and stuff. Is there any games you'll be in the next year or so?
Yeah, it was announced during the course of last year. They announced Brothers in Arms Furious 4, and I'm one of the characters in that. If you watch the trailer on YouTube, there's a mohawked character that's like a Native American guy called Chok, Chok, and that's Carlos Ferro, man. That's me.
I love that game. That series is really good.
Yeah, no, this Brothers in Arms is like Inglourious Bastards, the video game.
So you'll be
it's on my radar. That's on my purchase list.
Yeah, no, that's been announced, and I believe doesn't Starhawk, the PS3 exclusive, come out in like 4 days?
That's out soon. Yeah, it's out very soon.
Yeah, I'm in Starhawk.
Oh yes, fantastic.
Yeah. So that I can talk about, but depending on what happens at E3, there may be a massive announcement of mine, but I can't say.
Oh god damn!
Yeah,
that's in a month, isn't it?
That is in a month. That is June 5th through the 8th.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I got work booked off for that.
Yep.
Sit down and nerd out in front of the TV. Send the girlfriend to the shops for like 12 hours. She'll love it.
See all the coverage.
I do. I always sit through all of it. I love it. That's my favourite time of year because then I can then turn around to the girlfriend when she comes in and says, "Right, this is exactly what I've got to spend as the year goes on." So I can call out the household family budget quite early.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the new the action figures for Gears 3? I don't know if you guys are into action figures.
I've seen them. Yeah, they sell them in a shop not too far where I live.
Wow. No, if you see, I'll tell you right now, if you see the Gears of War 3 Dom figure with the beard, snap it up because it's the short packed one. If they get a case of action figures, there's like one Dom in the box with a bunch of other people. It's kind of rare. It's really hard to come by, and so much so that I only have like one of my own, and I'm trying to get my hands on more Dom 3s because it's a really cool figure. It looks awesome.
So with the beard, just with the one with the beard, and then we're on to a winner.
The one with the beard. Yeah, there's also there's a company that came out with Leonardo da Vinci action figures that are smaller, and they just released. I don't know. The reason I'm even talking about action figures is if you do any research, if you Google my name, pretty quickly, my action figure collection comes up online because I have like this ridiculous action figure collection in my house. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't know that.
If you search Carlos Ferro action figure, it won't be the Dom action figure or the Leo action figure. You'll see my house looks like a very rich 10-year-old lives here. and so the news about the Gears 3 action figure was cool because I love having an action figure, and the Leo figure was nice and it was small. But did you guys play the Assassin's Creed games?
All of them.
Yeah, I played them.
All right. Well, you remember the Leo's flying machine?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just announced they've just released it. They released you can put your Ezio in it or Leo, and it's a scale to the scale of the action figures. So I'm like dying to get my hands on that too.
Are you in 3 or not?
No, I'm not.
3. Not as Leonardo da Vinci, but just as another character.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Oh.
But wait, are we talking about? Wait, I always fuck this up. 3 is the one that just got announced, not Revelations. You're talking about 3, right?
Yeah,
Content
actual
3,
three.
the
Yeah.
Native American one by
No,
America.
so I am not in Revelations, and I cannot say if I am or not in 3. There you go.
Okay then.
So there you go.
Cool.
There we go. And what games were you enjoying of last year? What was your favourite? Because last year was like mega huge for games.
Well, Gears 3, of course.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what games are you looking forward to this year?
Brothers in Arms Furious 4. No, I actually want to play Starhawk. And I like the idea of building your fortresses and stuff. You know, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I did the beta, and it was like Command and Conquer on foot.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing is that I worked on Command and Conquer 4, I believe. Right. And yeah, I dig that, man. I like like you said, on foot, the idea of having sort of the third person aspects and also the fortresses and stuff and strongholds. That's awesome.
If you walk around like, oh, I need a hanger, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. But you know, that goes on in Gears. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I've played a lot of Horde. I've sat there for 7 hours getting from wave 1 to 50 like the rest of the people.
I haven't gotten to 50. I always, for some reason, something goes wrong with whoever's, even if it's me, but whoever's, what the fuck am I thinking of?
Hosting.
Fuck, yeah. Thank you. Whoever's hosting, I'm sorry, guys. Whoever's hosting, I don't know if it's me or them, but we crash at around 35 or 40. I got to 40 and I lost my mind because we crashed. And, you know, yeah, you can pick up, but, you know, I'm sort of a purist, you know, I want to just get through it wave by wave, you know, and just get through all the way to 50. And I haven't done it yet.
No, I've done it just the once. We thought we could do it in a few hours. We started about 9 p.m. here, and it was light before we finally took down level 50. I was hoping Epic had given you some sort of tips, like tricks on some of the maps you could share with all the listeners, because Wave 50, a sadist developed that. Somebody who wanted to punish gamers.
Is it just like all berserkers and no locusts? Just ridiculous?
It's crazy because, well, you can get quite far, and then if you die and everybody dies and then you start Wave 50 again, it changes. It's just loads of a different type of boss character. So you got to completely change your whole strategy yet again. And then when the money starts running out, that's when your hair starts getting pulled out. That's what I say.
Yeah, well, you know, I was, from a gamer perspective, I was a little, I wasn't sold on the idea of the money thing, you know? Like, I was like, really? And then I started really getting into it. Like, you know, just it's to me, it's like the concept of reload. You know, once you've got a handle on that of like not running out of ammo, then you're good. So you know, it's the money thing is the same way. I've already got my favorite maps, and like I said, I hoard as often as possible, and I'll get there. I just haven't done it yet.
Do you rage a lot? Do you like rage if you get close to the end of the wave and you lose the match? Do you like shout down the mic, or do you like kind of keep it calm and collected?
No, I'm an emotional cat, as you guys know. Dude, my geek card is like platinum. Like, you know, I play like everybody else, you know, what's weird is when I'm playing with, cause my gamer tag is private and I don't let people know when it tends to be like 1 or 2 friends and then the other 3, people are just random kids, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, they don't know that they're playing with Dom. And, you know, if somebody starts talking trash, that's when I can break out the Dom jokes, you know what I mean? Yes. And that's pretty fun. But you know, I got in trouble for telling a story. But let's just say, you know, it's pretty funny to hear Dom let someone have it on multiplayer, you know, and it's not the figure; he's on mic, you know. It's pretty funny.
What was the reaction of the person? Were they just stumped?
They went silent and then said, "Are you guys hearing that?" And that's pretty funny because you know what's
going on.
Yeah, it was he started talking shit about Dom, and I play as Dom. I've never played as anybody else, and they started not just laying into me how I was playing, but like talking about the character, and that's when my friends are laughing about it, so then I start kind of egging him on, and I start engaging him by saying stuff back to him, and then he started confusing whether it was me or the game saying it. Like, and he started going, are you hearing that? So, if whoever this is, I don't know what age he is, so I'm not like abusing children. I mean, it's a mature game anyway.
Yeah.
But let's just say he sounded very young, and a guy who's saying, calling Dom deadweight Dom and saying Dom the dumbass and all this, I started, I started saying things like, how Dom says, got it, like he's, whatever, got it's a good one, right? So like he hears the game say, got it. And then I was saying, got it, you dumbass, and he would, and there's silence, and it's like, did you guys hear that? That's pretty funny, right?
Just confusion.
It was simple confusion. Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm trying to think. What are the other things that Dom says in multiplayer? There's like nice. You know what I'm saying? Like little simple stuff. And then I would just tack on something else. I mean, not his gamer tag or anything, but just there was little add-ons that were sup bitches, you idiot. So kind of funny.
That person will be sitting in his room, curled up in a ball, rocking in the corner, going like, "The game talked to me, man. The game talked to me."
Talking to me, exactly. It's talking to me.
That's epic and creepy at the same time.
Yep, exactly.
So you a big film fan? Do you like going to cinema a lot?
Monster, like ridiculous.
Yeah, I get annoyed if I don't go a lot. If I don't go within 2 weeks, I'm like, I get a twitch.
Well, I'm a sick collector, so like I said, the action figure collection is ridiculous. Yeah. But then my DVD collection is I have 2,000 DVDs.
Wow.
And they're all like, and again, when you're a collector, you've got those silly OCD type of displays that looks like you're selling DVDs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my house looks like I have a shop for DVDs or a shop for action figures, and it's just my house, But the DVDs, I've got a whole. Every room has a multi-region player.
Yeah.
So I've got one shelf that's got I don't know, a few hundred just UK region 2 DVDs. And
what are your top 3 in your collection?
Well, say that again.
In the UK collection, what are your top 3?
Oh, I'll tell you. This is what I'll do. I'm standing up. I will rattle. From here, I can see the shelf.
Yep.
I've got complete Life on Mars on DVD, Ashes to Ashes on DVD, Nighty Night, both series, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Saxondale, Human Remains, Spaced.
Spaced is epic.
Let's see. Series 1 is epic.
Yeah, Series 2 is a bit weird.
Yeah, weird's the right word for it. But yeah, all the old Ali G DVDs from back, from when the show was still on the air,
Any Doctor Who?
And I mean it's silly. I would say comedy. Did you guys ever watch Nighty Night?
It rings a bell. I don't think I watched it.
No, you've got to see that immediately. It's Julia Davis that was on Big Train, and did you see the Ricky Gervais movie Cemetery Junction?
Yes, I love that film.
Okay, well, she made she played his wife, the blonde woman.
Oh, right.
She had a series called Nighty Night that is it's in my top 2 or 3 sitcoms of all time, and it's really funny.
I have to watch that.
And Human Remains was a show with her and Rob Brydon.
I've seen a bit of that. That was funny of what I've seen.
Well, the woman, that's who the woman is Julia Davis. And then Garth Marenghi's Dark Place and Man to Man with Dean Lerner. Let's see, it's the whole family of Steve Coogan produced shows. Mm-hmm. My recent obsession is The Trip. Did you guys watch that when it went out?
That was really funny.
I love The Trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually I've been working on a show for the last year, an on-camera project that you guys will probably see next year somewhere. Mm-hmm. That is it owes a lot to The Trip, but it's not a comedy; it's more of a drama. But it's me on camera. It's think The Trip without a secondary character. It's with just the Steve Coogan character.
Any Doctor Who in your collection? Do you like Doctor Who?
You know, I like Doctor Who, but I'm not that guy. I'm not a Doctor Who guy. I'm
Ah,
honest.
I am
I'm-
Doctor Who crazy.
yeah. Did you ever watch? I'm looking at that same shelf. It's not UK, but it's right there because of the sensibility. Did you guys ever hear of Chris Lilly, who did Summer High Tie?
No, I didn't know
I don't
that.
think I have either.
I know the name.
It's an Australian sitcom about a private school. The guy's like, they call him the Australian Ricky Gervais, which I think is extremely generous. But
Yeah.
he's basically a really funny guy that plays multiple characters in this one sitcom.
I've seen it, man. What am I talking about? It's epic.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
It's the craziest, weirdest, most
Yeah,
surreal show ever.
where he plays the teacher and he also
Yeah.
plays
I like the
this
school when he plays the girl bully. When he's like
the girl bully. That's a perfect thing to call her. Yeah, that's Jamae,
yeah.
spelled Jamie, like Jamie, but she pronounces it Jamae.
Fantastic. So I take you're a big Ricky Gervais fan.
Huge. Yeah.
So did you watch Derek? The newest thing.
I have not seen Derek yet because I don't want to watch it all fucked up on YouTube. I actually want to see a good copy of it. I'll tell you what a Ricky Gervais fan I am. I have Meet Ricky Gervais, the first thing he ever did, and I have his appearances on the 11 o'clock show.
Yeah.
I've got all his stand-up specials when they were released in the UK. I've got from UK releases because I was living in London when The Office went out the first time, first series. So I got hooked into Ricky Gervais and all things Ricky and Steven back then. So that's like 10 years ago.
I've got all the podcasts. You just listen to the podcast.
Oh,
Carl.
yeah, I have all those.
It's
Yeah,
Carl.
yeah. Do you like the animated Ricky Gervais show?
I love it.
Brilliant, that is. That is some funny stuff.
Carl
That is.
Pickleton's a
That is
legend.
some of the funniest. I was telling my girlfriend that recently that when I think I've got my favorite Ricky thing, like I really liked extras.
Mhm.
I always go back to The Office. But like I liked Life's Too Short and I like Idiot Abroad. So I like all their stuff, but I start to kind of when you have a favorite group and you have the album that you think is your favorite album of that group.
Mhm.
Like I have my favorite series for each. I have my favorite stand-up special and my favorite series that they've done. But I keep always kind of going back to the podcast.
Yep, I've got them on. I've got them all on my iPod, and it's always repeated on shuffle.
Yeah, when nobody knew who Carl Pilkington was, even before when they were doing what was the radio station XFM? Yeah, when they were just on XFM, I was listening to them then. And they didn't have they changed all the different providers that would do the audiobooks. You know what I mean? Like it was like 3 different companies, and I found that my favorite Ricky Gervais thing might be the animations of the podcast because Series 3 just started here, and if you've listened religiously to Series 1 and Series 2, Series 3 is so great. They're only on episode 3 of Series 3, and they do they call back jokes constantly. So like they reward the fans for being such good fans. So like they'll be let's say that there's a story that Carl's telling and he's walking down the street. There'll be a poster on a theater, like a poster for a movie that's showing that has nothing to do with the story he's telling.
Yeah.
But it's a poster starring Clive Warren.
Oh, fantastic.
Just to reference when he called Clive Owen Clive Warren.
The love of two brains.
Exactly.
With Rebecca De Mornay.
And Rebecca De Mornay, who hadn't done a movie in 20 years. Yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm a huge Ricky fan, and I keep up on his blog and so forth and so on.
When you get the chance, do watch Derek. It's really good.
Yeah, did that make you cry too?
Oh my god! Right, this is the thing. I'm a soft ass. I'm so soft. I'm such a softie. I cry anything. If Extras is my favorite thing of Ricky Gervais's.
Yeah,
I like his podcast, but as a show, Extras is my favorite, and I watch every few months. And when I watch it all in one, his end speech on the special,
it's awesome.
Always gets me. I think I know what he's going to say, but then when it happens, it's just like I'm like.
You're like, I want to be a penguin too.
And exactly, you do. You're just sitting there, and then you got like Steve Merchant crying in the shop.
Nice.
This is so good.
Steve Merchant in the shop going, "It's okay, man." Like he's talking to him instead of Maggie.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, well, I heard Derek is chokes you up at the end, and I'm like, well, yeah, but if you're really a Ricky fan, do you remember the first appearance of the character of Derek? That's my quiz for you.
I don't
stand-up science?
remember.
All right. The first time that there was
Science
ever
stand-up?
no, in science he does the autograph seeker, which is Derek. But the first time he ever does Derek, do you have access to? I'm trying to think of which stand-up special it is. Yes, it's the second one. Do you have politics?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember is it in politics where he does Finding Leo?
All right.
It's when they're trying to get Leonardo DiCaprio has.
Yes, that's on the extras special.
It's what it is they had lost Jude Law for the end of series 1 of Extras.
Yeah.
And so what they ended up doing was they're in a hotel room drinking wine, him and Steven, and they're trying to call Leonardo DiCaprio to have him replace Jude Law. And they cannot get him. They can't get the union on the line or agents. And all of a sudden Ricky says, you know, I'm like a fantasist, is what Steven says. And he says, someday I will meet Tom Cruise and I'll marry him, right? and he has his hair pulled down and he's doing Derek as a character, and he says, I have his number. It's 5555555. and he says, oh my God, he's talking about how sad it is that they're so famous and successful, but they can't get anyone on the phone. And Ricky says, God, right now the music should be like piano music, like Coldplay, like na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, right? Well, when the whole Finding Leo thing ends and they show that they never got a hold of Leonardo DiCaprio, they play Coldplay, and you see Ricky wandering around the room like Derek. It's awesome. So yeah, look for that.
I've watched it multiple times, and when he says, "The one day I'm going to marry him," it proper kills us.
One day I will marry him. Yeah, I'm looking right now. You know what? It is not on politics. It's on
extras.
Animals. Is it extras?
Yeah, it's on extras. It's a special on extras.
Oh, it is. Fuck, Mr. Expert here.
Yes, back now.
I don't have any of these things we've talked about. I don't have any of them from the U.S. They're the UK.
On the first series.
And I'm looking at my. You sound like me right now, clicking plastic all over the bedroom.
Yep.
Yeah, it is Finding Leo featurette.
So I might watch it tonight. Actually, you might have to watch it. Yep.
Complete first series.
5555555.
5555555. And it's written in shit.
That's what he said. It's written in shit. Carlos, on that note, thank you very much.
All right, man. Bye.
Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jack, open it up. I can't believe it, Marcus. We finally found her. Maria. Maria. Dom. Oh no. No. No, baby. No. What did they do to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I tried to find you. God, I did. Please, no. Maria. God damn it, it's me, Dominic. It's Dominic. Marcus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man.
No. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I love you so much. Oh.